Hi, it's your friendly librarian, Erin MacArthur. In this video, we'll talk about the methods section of your literature review. What methods are, what should be included in this section of your paper, and how to develop and write your methods. I'm going to use the same example project I used in my first video, an educational intervention for family caregivers on chronic wound care and prevention for patients with dementia. The methods section comes at the very beginning of your literature review. Your methods are how you found the literature for your review and why you did it that way. Your literature review should be reasonably comprehensive, rigorous, and replicable, so it's important to have a clear and thorough explanation for how you conducted it. You won't be able to write a methods section properly if you haven't planned and documented your process as you go along. So I strongly recommend that you meet with me or another librarian to discuss and design your search process before you begin. We can help you choose the right databases and keywords to do a thorough and efficient search. Librarians can also help you determine appropriate inclusion and exclusion criteria. The main elements in your methods section are the details of your search, your selection criteria, and the total number of articles you screened and included. Let's begin with the search. The key pieces of information you need to report are the databases you searched, the search terms you used, and any limiters or filters you used on the search. Your search should include at least two databases, CINAHL and Medline. CINAHL is our most comprehensive nursing database and should be included in every nursing literature review. Medline is the library version of PubMed, and it can be searched simultaneously with CINAHL. Depending on your topic, you may want to include another subject-specific database, such as Education Source for education-related topics, and APA PsycInfo for mental health topics. For our example project, I would probably use Education Source since I'm looking at an educational intervention, and I might want to use sources that talk about adult learning theory. You will also need to list the search terms you tried. This can be a single sentence. In our example, it might be something like, keywords searched included dementia, chronic wounds, wound care and prevention, family caregiver, informal caregiver, and education. You'll also need to report any filters or limiters you put on the search, such as English language, peer-reviewed only, and publication date range. You'll next need to explain your selection criteria, also called inclusion and exclusion criteria. Inclusion criteria are the things you want your articles to have when you decide whether or not to use them in your review. These will vary depending on your topic, but could be things like a specific population or setting, a specific study design, or a particular geographic location. I might start out saying that my articles must be about dementia patients with chronic wounds, but if it turns out that population is understudied, I might broaden my criteria to any elderly patients with chronic wounds or any cognitive disorder patients with chronic wounds. So your inclusion criteria may change once you look at your search results. In contrast, your exclusion criteria are the things you don't want in your final set of articles. I might exclude articles that discuss wound care but don't discuss education, and exclude articles focused on healthcare workers, since informal caregivers are the target population for my educational intervention. If you have lots of articles to choose from, you might decide to exclude any articles from outside the US, or only include quantitative research studies. Finally, you need to report numbers of how many results were retrieved from your search, how many you screened, and how many you ultimately included. These numbers are often reported in the form of a flowchart called a Prisma diagram. The purpose of including these numbers is to help illustrate how much literature exists related to your topic and how comprehensive your search was. When you conduct your searches, make notes of the number of results that are retrieved, how many of those results you've screened by their title and abstract, how many of those screened results you reviewed in full text, and ultimately how many articles you included in your review after applying your inclusion and exclusion criteria. If you'd like feedback on your methods section, or if you'd like help planning your methods before you get started, please reach out to me or another librarian. You can reach me at my email, mcarthue@uwosh.edu, by phone at 920-424-1361, or you can self-schedule a research appointment using Navigate. Thanks for watching.